Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do share it with your friends and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you always for your support. Today we have Deepti back with us for another session of the SSR Diaries. Welcome, Deepti.
Namaste, Minaji.
Yeah. Deepti, a lot is happening now, and a lot of positive things are happening. So I think that's why we are all smiling.
Yes, yes. I mean, a lot more things will happen in the near future as well, Minaji.
Yeah.
I can tell you from
Hopefully,
whatever
yes.
feelers I'm getting you.
Yeah,
This will not stop now,
yeah, yeah.
irrespective of whether it will reach a conclusive or decisive action or not. But
Yeah.
such things will happen. I mean, they will be called for questioning. They will be. I mean, the right names will come out now.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Imtiaz Khatri in, for questioning, that is one of the biggest things that everybody has been waiting for. So that's happening. So good. So Deepti, I'll just read a little bit of the news, the latest breaking news, and then we can move on to the reading. So just bear with me.
Sure, Minaji. I look forward to your news actually.
Thank you. Okay, viewers, the latest breaking news is that an arrest warrant has been issued against Sahil Deshmukh, son of former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, by CBI. The second news is that IT raids are on Hotel Fairmont, Jaipur. This hotel is known for high-profile destination weeding, means drugs. It's closely related to Deputy CM of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. So IT raids are on the hotel now. Another thing is, thanks to the Maharashtra Bandh, Maharashtra has a daily revenue of 444.25 crores. Now, because of this Bandh by Mahavikas Agadi, it has cost them 444 crores. So all we can say is, well done, Mahavikas Agadi. Meanwhile, as you heard today, Aryan Khan's bail plea has been slated for October 30th. And you'll be surprised that today it was not only Manish Shinde, but there were two other lawyers with him. So in total, there were three lawyers representing Aryan Khan. And the decision was to hear the bail, hearing on October 13th. So another 2 days in jail. So meanwhile, look at how Bollywood has been spreading false news. For the last few days, they have been showing, Gauri Khan in a car, crying, sobbing, and everybody thought it was because he did not get, Aryan Khan did not get bail. But it was not that. Later, people came to understand that it was an old video where she had gone to jail to visit someone, and she came back, crying. And in the front of the car, you see Aryan Khan entering the car and sitting. So that was, everybody made out that was a wrong video. So this was only to build sympathy, viewers. So please always understand the way PR works. First, they get their friends to push, sayings that, see, Aryan Khan is only a child. And also now, please note that the truth is out. Aryan Khan is 26 years old, not 23. Aryan and his friend both are 26 years. So he's not a bacha. He's a full-grown man. So that truth has also come out. Meanwhile, we have always been speaking about, why Big Boss is sort of a shady event. Now, a particular person who was a part of it says that he was a part of the cast, couch casting. So what he says will be shocking for you. This man, Zishan Khan, says that when he went for this Big Boss OTT as a contestant, what the director told him was, take off your pants, show me your legs. Zishan Khan is a very unfiltered and honest guy, and in a chat show recently, he opened up on his casting couch experience. The Big Boss OTT contestant was asked to take off his pants. Sharing his experience, Zishan shared how once a casting director had asked him to take off his pants during an audition. Zishan did not take any names and said that he knew about the underlying intention of being asked to take his pants off, and he refused to do so. Zishan wanted to get the project based on merit and not by such a method, and he let the director know about it. Sharing his experience in media's invite only, he said, so he called me there and he's like, you know what this guy is like, college baddie? So I want to see how physically fit you are. Can you take your t-shirt off? I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. I take my t-shirt off. After that, he's like, I want to see your legs because a lot of people work only on the upper body and not their lower body. Post this, Zishan gets the hint. The director comes clean and asks him whether he understood the meaning. Zishan ascertained the same but insisted on giving an audition to get the role. The director then took the names of a few celebrities, saying that he was responsible for their success. Zishan, however, stood his ground and refused to compromise. The director added that a lot of people say no first, but come back again for the sake of work. He, however, said that he won't be able to sleep if he got work other than this merit. He added that he would do simple things and live a decent life if nothing happens. Now, Zishan, as he enters Big Boss, will have bigger shocks for him. It's more than what is happening in Bollywood. So, back to you, Deepti. Let us start with the session. And everybody.
Minaji, since you spoke about Big Boss, I just want to add one point here. See how they market and create demand for it.
Yes.
Big Boss, it was like Big Brother in US or something like that, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when they wanted to enter India, because India was emerging as one of the big markets.
Yes.
For the, so when they wanted to enter India, they deliberately made Shilpa Shetty win. All these are scripted. Okay.
Yes.
If Shilpa Shetty hadn't won that Big Boss episode outside, no one in India would have known what it is.
Exactly.
There was a controversy created about racism. Ultimately, she was crowned the winner. So that controversy gave it the much needed publicity and the demand in India that an Indian won a Big Boss.
And
so you
every,
see how
every state.
I'm sorry?
And in every state. It's there in Tamil Nadu, Kamala Hassan, every state.
Yeah, gradually it has spread all over, all the regional languages. But that is how it came into India. So Shilpa Shetty winning is not a coincidence. They wanted to enter India. That's the reason all that controversy was created. It is all totally scripted. Reality shows are not, as Sushant says in his diaries, they're already scripted. What we see.
Yeah, also Deepti, see, the girls who come or the boys who come, they come from remote parts of the world, of India rather. So they are not very familiar with the Bollywood standards. So it is only when they enter into Bollywood that they are said that, see, you need to wear such and such clothes if you need to attract people. You need to act, come in shocking attire at airports so that people really see, you see you and get shocked. So this is the way they attract people. Second thing is they also create romances. And it is always a romance between a Hindu boy and a Muslim girl. More on the lines of love jihad. Okay. So this happens. And then there is some sort of a breakup, and a lot of jealousy is created. Then a lot of, hangama is created. And then what happens is, Deepti, all this emotions goes out into their real life. You look at what happened to Siddharth and Shehnaz, and so many people before that. Apparently in Maharashtra, a woman died who was a part of the Big Boss. So there are a lot of other things also which are kind of scary, in this program. So it's not a very simple program that we are talking about. All these reality programs have a lot of, shady things happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll get back to our reading. And everybody is looking forward. They've already said that, I think many of them say that, for example, I'll just put this. He says, Meenaji and Deepti, hats off to you. Good guys doing a great job by bringing the truth out. Please call. Then they ask us to call someone so that we get the truth out, because this girl is trying to reveal the cabal. So everybody is looking forward to hear you, Deepti.
Received a feedback saying that you said, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I received a feedback just now from somebody person. They said that you said Hindu boy and Muslim girl. What happens is that, right? They are saying it's the other way around. To correct you,
Siddharth was a Hindu. Siddharth was a Hindu, and Shehnaz is a Muslim, or I don't know, because she seems like a crossbreed. Shehnaz is a Muslim name.
Okay. No, actually, it's not that. Minaji, I mean,
Either way, even if it's girl or boy, it's that is the equation.
see, we have, if we have Khans in the industry, we have Kapoors as well.
Yeah.
We have an Akshay Kumar as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, evil or, whatever it is, honesty, that doesn't see any religion. And let us not discuss them on the basis of religion.
No, it's
Though
not
these
on the
people,
way. No. See, Deepti, I like to make it very clear to the viewers and to yourself that it's not about religion. It is about a certain pattern. Okay. For example, social media, if you criticize Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, or any other Khan, there is a complete Muslim group of fans that will come and attack us. So that's their fan base. Everybody knows it. So what happened to Aryan Khan, specifically, I think Shah Rukh Khan has mentioned to his fans and his people, tell people to control my fans. Otherwise, they will start to, yeah. I've lost Deepti. Yeah. So what I would like to tell you, viewers, is that Shah Rukh Khan would have specifically told his fans, please do not make any problem between him and getting his son out. So that's why you'll find that the tweets from his fans are very few in social media. So everybody is trying their best to get Aryan Khan out without crossing lines. So that's one point I wanted to make. Okay, as I wait for Deepti, let me just get some of the other comments. A lot to rescue our Hindu girls, to rescue them from love jihad. We should support her. Okay, PK, we will look at her. You said Kajal, Hindustan. Okay, we'll do that. Fine. Karthik, as Deepti said in the previous session, that the next session would be about SSR's preparation for the Dhoni biopic. Okay, looking forward to that. Liberator, Minaji and Deepti ji, looking forward to meet you and be a part of this session. Welcome. Vilakshan, welcome. Vilakshan, welcome to you. Gloria, good evening. You're doing excellent work in the expose and necessary actions. My prayers are thank you, Winnie. We always need prayers. Today, 5 soldiers martyred at Poonch by Pakistan, even after ceasefire. Salute them for their sacrifice. Again, a lot of unrest. Kashmir, I hope to see a clean India soon. Stella Francis, welcome. Long time since I saw you, Stella. Rini, ma'am, whenever this lobby is threatened, they start creating an unrest across India. This is the pattern I have observed. Yes. Good evening. Yeah, let me just add. Deepti? Yes, Deepti. You got
me. Yeah. Cut. Yeah, I'm sorry, Minaji.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
actually, yes. It seems someone was trying to pass on some message to you and the viewers that it's Shehnaz Gill. She is a Punjabi, and Love Jihad is.
Yeah, but see, Shehnaz is not a Punjabi name. Shehnaz is a typical.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So we know what are the kind of Punjabi Sikh names are there. So anyway, let that pass. Because if we argue, we'll keep on arguing about that until the program is over. So yes, Deepti. So let us continue. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I'll start reading now, Minaji.
Yes, please. Yeah. Please.
Okay. So till now we looked up to others to hope to see a change. Why not for once we look up to ourselves and work for that change? We can do it, provided we want to do it. We feel the need to do it. We get it from inside that this is what has to be done. If not, I will suffocate. Till this feeling comes in each of us, there is no point we even expect to see a change. Life will throw challenges onto you. But instead of asking life, why me? Why not we ask this time, try me? The only thing that is needed here is you back yourself up, the world will stand with you. You give up on yourself, the world too will. Whatever you see out in the society is a reflection of what is running in your mind. If you want to see a change in the society, then you will see how pathetic a situation we are in. If you think of anything else, the same will come out in front of you, because our eyes look to give out those pictures to us which our thoughts are trying to paint. So it is very important for all of us to understand that this is the reality of in life. If you want to achieve something, you should make it the breath of your life. That is when success will come running behind you. With high hopes and trust in myself and God that this Hawala scam that we are now studying gets us to the right direction and helps us to decode the facts around it. For now, I would like to end this chapter here and move on to the other scams that have created havoc in our country. But before I proceed any further, I would want to make this statement loud and clear. 2024 is not far away. Within the blink of eye, we should be there. But this time, before you press that button, ask this to yourself. By pressing this button, will I be happy for the next 5 years? Will I see some progress and development in my region, at least this time? Will my voice be heard? Will I be able to proudly make my points without any fear in my mind? Will we have peace and prosperity in our society? Will the person I elect be accountable for his actions? A long question, but yes, please ask yourself this question, because if you vote after this, I am sure you will press the right button. It doesn't really matter whom you choose, but choose someone after knowing him. Some mistakes we did in the past were we some mistakes we did in the past were, do not misunderstand or take me wrong over here, just to get Modi ji to power, we pressed BJP, even if the local BJP candidate had a huge list of corrupt activities to stand as his portfolio. This time round, let's make sure we select the right man for the job. I do understand Modi ji is our hope, and I will make sure when I meet him, I will convey this to him as well, to give it a thought, to check who is getting the ticket from a particular constituency, and also request Modi ji to design a model wherein the ground situation is taken stock of. Everyone who is in power should be made accountable for their actions and words too. I am sure Modi ji will oblige to this. And I hope that this time at least we analyze before we vote and vote for the right person to get the job done. This one decision of our will architect the foundation of a better society for you and me. The Hawala scandal, if it was investigated properly, then it would have opened up a lot of secrets to the naked eye. But it was not investigated the way it should have. And that, till date, remains one of the main reasons a lot of people who have wished ill for our country are still at helm. Sukram Telecom Equipment Scam, 1996, 1996 telecom scam. This is not that big when compared to the other scams that our country has seen. But this scam too plays a major role. And if you ask me how I could get to learn about this scam, or what made me even think about this in the first place, then my answer would be ऊपर अल्लाह नीचे धरती बीच में आहिल का जुनून. Can you make the connection why I was sort of interested? Yes, I agree that the scam happened a long time ago. But when this issue came up to me, I felt like it was something that was happening everywhere around me.
Okay, let me just read the latest comments till she joins. Humanity, namaste everybody. I just wish Sushant was still alive. I wish he had the chance to speak to President Modi, Prime Minister Modi. Yeah. Arinya, welcome. Happy Navratra to all. Welcome. Karthik, Samiji would have known very well that he is entering the den of poisonous snakes. Hence, he is already prepared. No one should underestimate what he can do. Yes. Good evening, Shale. Actually, age does not matter. 23 or 26, both adults. Yes. Friends, please press the like button. Thank you so much, Sharon. So sweet of you. Good evening, Meena and Deepti. Friends, public of India don't want any products be endorsed by these Bollywood druggies, and not even cricketers' IPL drug parties are unsolved mystery. Excellent, Vidya. Aranya, yes. Deepti ji looks smashy today. Sherlock lady. She'll join us now, Aranya. Good evening, Rashmi. Uh, yeah, okay. Deepti is just joining me. Let me add her. Yeah, Deepti.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry,
It's okay.
Minaji.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
was just I was reading about this scam, and as I keep telling you that many people in positions and agencies watch your show. So I
Yeah.
just got a feedback that I mean connecting this whatever I am revelations are being made in Sushant's drives to the current affairs. Yogi has ordered for the report card of all his MLAs.
Yes. Yeah, spoke about that yesterday. Yes.
Yes,
He
yes.
wants, yes.
Okay, all
It's
right.
very good.
So, yeah. So the revelations that are being made in the drives are being followed and they are
Yeah.
being acted upon.
Yes.
So that's
Absolutely.
one good thing. Yeah, that's
Very
one
good.
good thing that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will continue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, Sukram telecom equipment scam, 1996 telecom scam. This is not that big when compared to the other scams that our history has seen. But this scam too plays a major role. And if you ask me how I could get to learn about this scam or what made me even think about this in the first place, then my answer would be Upar Allah Niche Dharti Beech Mein Ahil Ka Junoon. Can you make the connection why I was sort of interested? Yes, I agree that the scam happened a long time ago. But when this issue came up to me, the person used the same lines I have mentioned here in inverted commas. I was a bit confused. Then he said he is making a reference to Arpita Khan, and he used that as a hint for me to understand what he was pointing out to. Salman Khan's brother in law Ayush Sharma, who is the grandson of Pandit Sukram, and he used that phrase as it was in one of the Salman's promo for his movie Sultan. चोर चोर मौसेरे भाई तो सुना था यहाँ तो इत्तेफाक ने चोर चोर को जीजा साला बना दिया. All thieves are cousin brothers is what I had heard. But here coincidence has made one thief the brother-in-law of another. Though this is sheer coincidence, I would like to make mention of only one thing here, which made me laugh my gut out. When Sukram was finally convicted, he played the age card with reasons which sounded so flimsy that I couldn't hold back but laugh out loud. I am 86 years old and have age related issues, and have lost my wife too. And the decade long trial has affected my health a lot. If we consider this on humanitarian grounds, we could have given the consideration if this was the only offense, but if the reports the agencies have submitted are to be believed, then the CBI clearly said that Sukram was a habitual offender and had more than one issue to his name, and that why he should not be let out. The reason I want to make a mention out of this is because the connection to Hyderabad and the other syndicates that run down south from Mumbai have their links attached to this. I have come to it. I shall come to it when I speak about the drugs angle and other angles like human trafficking and animal smuggling, import of poisons and other animal byproducts, movement of ivory, tiger skin, and other such activities. Once I am done with these scams that I had gotten to here and we have worked on. This was the route from where the connections actually started, and it flourished. How and what had happened, I will explain it when I take that chapter up, because that chapter in itself is so huge that I am mentally prepared to literally touch the core of the earth and come back when I am going to expose that to the public. The kinds of attacks, verbal and social, that I am in for, I am well aware of it and I am prepared for it. But first, I have to finish this. I have to finish this episode of my work and conclude it because I do not want to keep jumping from one topic to another and then come back over again and create any kinds of confusion to anyone whatsoever. Things are best understood when they are kept simple and there is continuity. That's what I am going to do. Keep it simple and make sure it is continuous, and then leave it up to you to judge what you want to derive out of it. But the one thing, when I go ahead and explain the connection in a later slide, you will instantly relate this to this slide. How this was the foundation stone for stronger contacts in Hyderabad and Himachal Pradesh too. Sukram's family has a strong hold in Himachal Pradesh, and the connection to Hyderabad is directly linked to this case, wherein the company that Sukram favored for the equipments was a Hyderabad based private firm, believed to be a close associate of the then Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, K. Vijayabhaskar Reddy, whose son now is in the Telugu Desam Party, TDP, whose founder is N.T. Ramarao, and the NTR family had dirty secrets hidden in their closets. The one connection here to get me the minutest of the minute detail with ease would be some of Sridevi ji's contacts and some others connected around this. However, the essence of the subject would be as simple as this: the connection that was linked to this 1996 telecom scam, though if it was not that big or impactful like the others that make the list, but this scam actually connected the north to the south, and it's under process currently for me to write any further to it. After coming this far, the one thought that has been recurring in my mind every now and then is that this is how these people work. If you want to understand why things are going wrong today, you have to dig into yesterday, but not forget you are living in the present. I can bet on it. I can bet on it that if you take a paper, write down each and every incident that has happened, and start digging around it, you will find one link or two where the chain connects to the main parent chain. And when you try to get to the bottom of the issue, you will only end up realizing that each and every incident that has happened in the country is interlinked. And the smaller crimes that have come out or has made news was just a blinder. It's just like putting mud over shit, like animals do once they are done passing stools. Use your own intellect, analyze, and try to connect. Do not hear it out from me. Do not take it from me. But God has given you two eyes, see for yourself. God has given you 2 ears, listen out what the voices have to say. God has given you two hands, use them to propagate the matter. God has given you one mouth, speak out to people. God has given you a brain, think and analyze. If you put even 1% of the effort to see through things, I am sure you will be able to see a lot of things. And I am sure each of us here knows what kind of environment we are living in. And despite that, if you still want to stay silent or quiet, I have nothing more to say. But you are doing injustice to yourself and not anyone else. This silence of yours that you have won today will cost you deep, big, and huge one day. And that day, all you will have to do is repent for not making the right decision at the right time. It's very easy to give up, but it's even more easier to stand up. If you have 1,000 reasons to give up, all you need is that one reason for you to fight back. This is the kind of attitude we should possess. We have not lost anything till we tell till we tell ourselves we have. Falls happen and it does leave some scars on our body, but it only makes us stronger and prepares us better for the future. So it's up to us how we choose our battles and fight them. When you feel this is your fight, then you will not need anyone to guide or support you. You will by default take the lead, and then once you have taken the lead, you yourself will start making the connections, and trust me, things do fall in place. The invisible positive energy is all around you, and all you have to do is start the process. Once you start, like minds will attract to you, and within no time, you for yourself will have a strong team of individuals. And when all these teams come together and form one unit, we will for sure be a superpower. In this case as well, the connection is again the same. A politician misuses his seat to do undue favors within the circle, and this undue favor creates the mess, which takes up the shape of a scam and shapes up a lot more scams to follow. The judgments and the statements on this case too is documented, and you will find copies of it in the High Court and Supreme Court too. The Hyderabad company belonged to P. Ramarao, and the name of the company was Advanced Radio Masts, ARM. Now do your homework on this. That's it on this for now. But I will for sure get back to this because this has connection with so many other incidents that have happened and the names that have come out. Now I am yet to verify on them. But this scam, I repeat once again, had been the bridge in which North walked down South, and so many related crimes that could have managed shifted slowly down South. I don't want to comment anything on the geography, but give a clean sheet to anyone that before this there was nothing happening. Because for sure, South too had its own issues of scams and trouble. But the one thing that happened after this incident, when the generations after the 1980s are taken into consideration, is crime syndicate started getting centralized, and activities happened much faster. A huge list of scams down south, which have connections to the north and east and west too, have been found out. And I will make sure I will write about each one of them so that we have the complete truth in front of us before we decide on the future course of action and how we execute each of our plans and ensure that the truth comes out in the eyes of the public. Once this is done, the only thing we need to wait back and see is towards which direction this head to. Revolution, if we all get together, speak to the authority, put pressure on them, and make sure they listen to us, they too cooperate, we get our answers and the systems change. Rebellion. If the authorities turn deaf, then we go ahead with what I would want to call the people's movement towards awakening. Peaceful protests, non-cooperation, and lots more. I'm sure that the current government in the center will definitely stand with its citizens. But if it doesn't, then we have to take matter into our own hands and without breaking the law, plan certain actions where we can get our desired results. The path is full of obstacles but is not an impossible one. I totally agree. There will be challenges, but that does not mean that we will give up. We all have to team up and fight this battle together. Because in all these scams, the names are common and the connections too are so. If we just put that one break, the entire nexus will fall down like a pack of cards. We have to make sure we start from the roots. The pawns have taken enough of the blame. Now it's time for the kings to get a taste of the medicine of truth, and they get their due for the crimes they have made. I cannot say a word about others, but for me, the vessel is full. Now it's payback time. And I will make sure I will create that strong platform and voice out for the people who have been victims of any sort of crime, small or big, doesn't matter, to come and join hands with us. As I always say, if we multiply in numbers, these numbers will make the AC dwellers sweat. And when the AC dwellers sweat, our job becomes that much more easier. And that's when we can expect actions that will be favorable to us. Since we are now roaming around Hyderabad, the next issue I would be discussing here would be somewhere around this region only, wherein we will get to know another dirty angle, which is again connected to the IPL and had big names like MS Dhoni and Suresh Raina involved in the investment project too. However, yet again, these two did not make much of the news. And since I myself have interacted with MSD, I have some idea around this and can say for sure that this was another one of its kind of a scam which never made its way out in the news and stayed buried. MSD does not want to comment anything on it or does not want to actually do nothing about it. It's his opinion. But now, when I have gotten to know about this, I will make a mention of it here and will make sure I will work on it too. It all started when N. Srinivasan, the boss of Indian Cements, was called by the ED for his alleged involvement with Jagan Mohan Reddy's companies, from which he was making profits, which could not be explained on paper. And when questions were asked to Srinivasan, he did not have any proper answers to it. And when inquiries happened, there was a totally different picture that was presented. But if the real inputs from the inquiries are to be believed, then there were a total of 100 plus companies to which Srinivasan was supplying material to. And Jagan Mohan Reddy too was with a different intent altogether when he was working towards this. Now, this different intent is another angle that needs to be worked upon, as I do not have much of idea what this means in this context. But yes, if the chronology of events are to be believed, then this is why, and then this is very much clear that Srinivasan and Jagan Mohan had a strong business association. The interesting angle to this story is the appointment of Dhoni as VP of Sales and Marketing by India Cements. And Suresh Raina too has a definite role to play in the India Cements payroll. The question that comes here is that what was the connection here and how this took a different shape as well, which went elsewhere. Let's go stepwise because this is something which is huge and deep and has wings everywhere and is in itself a huge subject altogether. And the way I want to explain it, if I start now, I will not be able to do justice either to this subject or the other subject which I want to take up. Though both incidents are connected, it needs to be explained in a way that the message coming out of it will not confuse anyone. The way Srinivasan was not just connected to Jagan Reddy, but the way he managed the whole show. People who have seen this happen say what was the standout here is that it was a businessman who knew his game well, was at work, the way the negotiations happened, and the way the in and out of funds that happened in so many companies, and keeping all this on the tip of the tongue without having any paper or having it stored anywhere clearly showed that Srinivasan was the man who never took anything lightly. And in one meeting that happened on this, that man Srinivasan did say that numbers and figures are to be kept in your mind and not kept it anywhere else. Because when you are not doing the right thing, all the wrong should be in your mind. Writing the wrong things down gets you in trouble. Because anything and everything anywhere is legal till you are caught. And this is the fact which everyone should understand. Just thinking out loud, look at the thought process of this man and see the irony that is there in the society everywhere, anywhere. This has been a trend, and this trend is continuing to create problems in the society since eternity. And there has been no effort from anyone whatsoever to do anything on these lines. The suffering which this gets on to the people is so intense that there is no way out for the people who get trapped with such people. And Srinivasan was a master at his work and always made sure till he had all the cards in his hands, he never struck any deal, no matter how much ever money was involved. He stood to his stand that till I handle stuff and know what I am doing in and out, I will not do anything that is needed. The only way I will work is when I have all the information with me and I am the decision maker. These were MS Dhoni's words when I tried to ask out a few questions to him on this. And then he said, do not put your head into these matters, as the people who are trying to find information on, if they get the slightest of hint that you are on this, they will make sure you will be wiped off from your existence. I was shocked to hear this. But then what can be done? What MS tried to say was if you have to bow down to one person and then hold your head high in front of the society without compromising on your values, then there is nothing wrong in it. I am associated with him in a legal way, and I am only concerned about that. What he does otherwise, why should I worry? The people who should worry, they should, in a legal way. Okay, sorry. Uh, The people who should worry, they should give it a thought about it, as it is not my job, what I am in for. I make sure I do justice to it and stay true to it. I am not interested in anything else. This was what MS concluded on this chapter and said, "This is all I want to say for now on this subject, and would request you to not take this matter up again in front of me. We have been associated for something. Let's just focus on that." I did have a lot of questions, but then I decided that the matter has to be handled with care. I have a golden duck right in front of me who can get me all the information if I handle this the right way. There was one dirty fight between Jagan and Srinivasan, which actually went to that extent wherein, if the matter was fueled a bit further, it would potentially spell doom for the regional politics in Andhra, and it was Jagan himself who orchestrated that ED raid on Srinivasan to slow him down. And it was made very clear to him during the raid that if he is given the authority to take decisions, that doesn't mean he can take things for granted, and sitting and dictating terms will not be entertained. There is one instance where this can be strongly concluded to is that when the ED team actually came to Srinivasan, the normal procedure of raids was not followed. The body language and the way the raid was conducted, there were some serious doubts in everyone's mind. And the initial report, where points are noted down, was submitted 3 days after the raid, and Srinivasan's signatures too were not taken on the same day. This sounded a little too scripted for me, and it is clearly mentioned in the case files, which were in the ED initially, though this came there by accident. The entries went to court too, but then again there was no action taken. Only it was a show off that action is happening. I will raise public grievance on each of these topics and make sure that I will bring all these matters out again. And the best time to do it is when election is just around the corner. One sure short way for us to expect any result around this is around the later half of 2022. Last half, because I would need that much time to put all this out in the public domain and make the public aware this is happening. And then, if we take the legal steps or raise grievances, we can expect some kind of public support, because by now the public would be aware of a lot of things and would be prepared and ready, or at least would relate and respond to what is happening around them. Moving further, the setup was planned so beautifully that the investments that were made as if it was rotating deposits. The same rotated from hand to another and another to somewhere else. And the money, the initial funding to this came from the money that was generated from the cement scam, and the people, those who were associated both with Srinivasan and Jagan Mohan, were actually deeply linked both centrally and state-wise as well. And many believed this to be one of the strong reasons that, despite being involved in the spot fixing scandal and getting banned for 2 years, the management did not change. Unlike what happened with Rajasthan Royals, where the management was changed. But CSK still is under India Cements, and no one is really bothered about this, or is raising a voice against this. So you see how IPL is a tool that is used for the rotation of black money. If we have our eyes wide open and our ears open too, then the one thing we shall realize is that everything was there right in front of our eyes, but we were blind not to see it. Thus are the connections and the various angles that are established here, where one can see for himself that the entire game that was being played was so interlinked that no one could afford to take action on anyone. And if someone dreamt of any action to be taken, the chords were interlinked. There is another interesting angle to this story. Srinivasan played a double game here when the Andhra split happened. He, on one side, was hand in glove with Jagan, and on the other side, he was well connected with N. Chandrababu Naidu as well for the Amravati project. Amravati's smart city project. It is believed that in order to slow Jagan down, and when the project was proposed and it got approved as well, and funds started coming in from all angles, a dirty game was played. Jagan was increasingly getting more and more popular, and the TDP was very sure that there was a possibility of them getting wiped off in the by-elections. So that had to do something and do something real quick in order to make sure that Jagan was in trouble. And this is the plan they devised with the help of Uma Maheshwar Rao, popularly known as Uma, and got the bridge to get connected with Srinivasan and try and put pressure from Srinivasan's side to come on a common ground using Srinivasan as the bait to strike out a deal with Jagan to ensure that the biased interests these people had could see the end of the tunnel. If the people whom I have interacted with are to be believed, what they say is that Jagan is a lot better when compared to the other leaders. His actions that he did for the sake of the people were top notch, and he was well respected by the people. Apart from a little communal angle to his approach, he was much better when compared to the other leaders in the state. He was the man of the moment. He was the man of the moment at that time. The work in the work in his constituency that he has done during his tenure, and the first hit he had to break down his speed was his arrest by the CBI on embezzlement charges. Now, there are two theories to this issue as well, and these two issues are the very important to be considered before we proceed any further. So, let's understand the two issues before we proceed further in this case. This was done just to ensure that he doesn't roam around free when the plan to split Andhra Pradesh into two states, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Jagan was one of the front runners who was always against the policy of dividing Andhra state. And despite being in jail, he started a hunger strike to challenge the UPA decision of two states. Now, another interesting angle here to stand a word for what I am guessing out is that there were other ministers too who were on the radar for similar charges, but CBI had shown extra interest in Jagan. I use the word guessing here is because though I know what the whole incident is, I need to be double sure, and I can only be double sure once I lay my hands on some things that are due to reach me. Jagan was gaining Jagan was gaining more and more popularity, and this was pricking everyone. There was some sort of a plan behind this which was kept under wraps, and there is a lot of confusion to date. What is the next chain of events that actually happened with too many stories to it, and every single story looks to be true? The second reason is the fallout with Congress had made sure that Jagan would start a new party of his. And in the initial days of the party formation, if Jagan is behind bars, the party would not be able to function to its full potential because there would be a divide in votes. So some say it was a trick to ensure the vote bank was safe and this unnecessary division would not affect the votes and give Jagan the advantage. These are the two other reasons that were found to make sense with the one that the CBI gave to have him arrested. The only reason for me to give it a thought is that around the same time, similar cases were running on ministers of other states too, and the same CBI was investigating on these states too. But here, why Jagan was held by his neck when there were other cases which the CBI was investigating just before? Jagan, see, I am not taking any sides here, but the only interest that I am pursuing this is to show the people of my country how these things are so closely interlinked and what are the different ways in which these games are played. And also, this is sure. And also, this issue that we are discussing now was the bridge how crime got centralized. All this had to be put in because the connection it has to so many scams in the country and a cash rich league, which is a disguise for so many anti social activity that is happening in our society, has to be stopped. And if this has to be stopped, every single angle that can be established or dug into has to be touched. And I do not mind if I have to write pages together describing all this over and over and over again. My own only problem is with the wrongdoing these people are involved in, with no personal enmity whatsoever. Some people in Andhra Pradesh strongly believe that Jagan Reddy getting elected as chief minister for this term was a blessing in disguise. Because if the government before that would have continued to be in power, then the entire state of Andhra would have so many problems. When some government activity would be the schedule of the day, there was a proposal of making Amravati a smart city and also the capital of Andhra Pradesh state. And if we take the opinion of geographers on this, they too feel it would have actually been a blunder. Not that I am putting things out just because I want, but this was another huge scam in the making, which did not materialize just because the project was dropped. Else, there would be economic impact of various degrees that the state of Andhra would have to go through. Srinivasan had a definite role to play in this too, and was the mastermind to bring investors from Singapore, and then the partnership was formed. Amravati Development Partners Limited, ADP, and the two partners were Amravati Development Corporation Limited, owned by Andhra Pradesh State, and Singapore Amravati Investment Holdings Private Limited, SAIH. This, according to the study made back then, was an attempt to make huge sums of money in quick time by giving out schemes and creating the need for this to happen so that a lot of money rotation can happen. Plots and sites were be, Plots and sites were being sold with a future plan to attract investors that tomorrow when it becomes the capital city of Andhra Pradesh, you shall get 10 times the value of your investment. As soon as Jagan's government came to power, the first thing he did was to put brakes on this and ordered for the demolition of various structures that were built or on the verge of construction since the time of Chandrababu Naidu government. And the World Bank, which initially was showing interest to give out funds for this project, backed off, though some say the timeline of events were different. There is yet another interesting angle to be added to this incident here. Insiders in the YSR party believe that Jagan had prepared a report and submitted it to the World Bank to stop the funding, as he felt that whatever was quoted and the return of investment that was promised was far, far away from the reality. And such a project would give rise to a scam of entire different level, as the plan was if the possibilities of failure were even close to be seen, then the funds that the government earns for the temples and other establishments that were in the state would be diverted this side. I am sorry, but I have to say this here too. There are two angles to this incident as well. One, the first being that Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy was a practicing Christian and he always favored Christianity. There were people in his own family who practiced evangelism, prosel- proselytism, as Jagan's brother in law M. Anil Kumar is an evangelist and the founder of Anil World Evangelism. Despite having the public image of differences between the brother and the sister, that led to the formation of YSR Telangana Party on the grounds that YSR Congress was not that famous in the state. Many feel this is just a gimmick because Sharmila Reddy had herself undertaken a 3,000-kilometer walk covering 14 districts to promote the YSR Congress. This is just another angle to the story, but many find and feel it to be true considering the bond the family shares outside the parliament. The Anil word of evangelism is believed to be funded by the state treasury is one part of the story. The second part is that Jagan felt there were other issues that needed to be addressed, and Andhra state never was in a need of a new capital. We first need to address these issues. As soon as, as soon as his party came to power, he cut down the funds that were going into the Amravati project and got the money that was being pumped into Amravati to mere 500 crores. And then he started moving out key government offices that had started to function here to Kurnool and Vizag, as he felt that these were better approachable places. And he also went ahead to give out a strong statement that there is no plans towards Amravati in the near future and the project would remain suspended for a very long time. This had invited protests, and this incident stands as an example for one of those very rare instances where BJP and Congress find themselves on the same side of the team. I have my own observations here, which I will get to it at the end of the chapter and ensure I pen it down too. These are the two sides of this chapter and the angle that was very prominently visible from the very beginning since Jagan's party came into power. Srinivasan's role in this was huge, and many believe the appointment of MS Dhoni and the secret appointments of Suresh Raina, Ravi Ashwin was in order to use the three as promoters for this project. It did not really materialize when the project got shelved. And if you watch it closely, that around this time, when the project was beginning to take shape, there was an allegation of CSK to be involved in spot fixing, and they were banned for 2 years. But when CSK came back, it was only Ashwin who was let aside. If some feel that this was a strategic decision, then let me remind you when CSK came back, neither was Jadeja in the best of forms nor was Suresh Raina. There is something that has created the fallout. What is it? Is yet to be explored. Anyways, for now, there are too many other things to add on to this, so we can actually keep this angle aside for now. Many from the administration of the BCCI and also otherwise believe that it was this closeness that Srinivasan had with Naidu and Jagan being one of the main reasons Chennai could make its way back into the IPL with the same management. If you do not want to believe me, do your own, do your own homework. BJP and Congress from the National Front were very much interested in this project. And if the project would have materialized, everyone could mint. And yet again, though I do not want to take that name here, the foundation stone for the city was laid by Narendra Modi ji. Can be anything, too soon to conclude, and the foundation stone for the High Court of Andhra Pradesh was laid by the then Honorable Chief Justice of India, Sri Ranjan Gogoi. See, when you see at it from a detached angle, the point that can be made is that it was the office and not the person who laid the foundation stone, so there cannot be made any comments here if the people who laid the foundation stone were hand in glove with it or not. But the one thing that is the fact is that the ongoing protests in Amravati has strong backing from the BJP party along with a lot others who are quite vocal in support of the same. The party list, those who are standing in solidarity with the people who are protesting, the list includes Amravati, Amravati Parkishana Samiti, Andhra Pradesh JAC Union, Farmers of Guntur and Krishna districts, Amravati Mahila JAC Union, Raitu Akya Karyacharana Samiti, Rajdhani Raitu Parirakshana Samiti, Students Federation of India, Telugu Nadu Students Federation, Andhra Pradesh Mahila Congress, Telugu Mahila, Telugu Desam Party Female Wing. The above list of the people who are protesting, and they have a lot of citizens of Andhra and a lot of NRI groups who are joining in large numbers to the protest sites. The parties which are supporting these protests include Telugu Desam Party, Janasena Party, BJP, Congress, CPI, CPIM, Telugu Association of North America, Lorry Owners Association of Krishna District. There were a lot of chaos that happened around Krishna district where lorries had denied on transport, and there was chaos everywhere. It to a section of, and there was chaos everywhere around it. 2. A section 144 to put things back on track. Bar Association of Krishna, Bar Association of Guntur. So many things that came into the picture here, and there are so many questions that come into the picture with the standout being the involvement of Bar Council in this. Can it happen? I'm not sure at this point here when I am writing this. But the one thing that becomes very important here is that two political giants are on the same side as a common man. What would be the image this shows? Does this mean that this is done to make the common man feel that there is nothing in it? This is what they wanted to achieve. But are we fools not to see through it? I do not mind if I have to drop writing this over and over and over again. I have nothing against anyone, and I'm only trying to keep the facts out as and how they are unfolded. And my only intention is to get the truth out and nothing else. It's not the people or the parties that I have problem with. I am having problem with is the way these people operate. No matter you are a hero for everyone. If you are wrong, then you are wrong. For me, no matter whoever you are or whatever position you hold in the society, it's not you that I have a problem. But if your activities have a reverse impact on the society, then I will be the first person to stand against you. There needs to be that revolution. I am so very irritated to be writing this here. That this is the same pattern that has been followed for years, and we are still falling prey to it. Arise, awake, and make sure we have to now strike back. Because even now, if we prefer to remain silent, then there is no way we are going to gain anything. See the connections of how this nexus around the criminals, the politicians, the businessmen, and the bureaucrats are creating in the country, and how many impacts that is happening in the country are so directly connected to each other. People of India, are you this dumb? Why are you not able to see through it? When it's quite clear that all this is so deeply connected, what is making you to stay silent or quiet on the issue? Is this your country? Is it not? Are you stealing from somewhere to pay your taxes? No, right? Then for what good reason are you silent? Well, realize if we become one, there would be no one who could even dream of putting a full stop to our progress. The matter that remains unanswered here is what do we do to become one? And this is the only question which I have to seek answers to. The situation is bad and it will soon turn worse. Come on, let's join hands and be one. Just for once, let's keep all our differences aside, just for this once, and think about our country. Above all, we have it in us to do it. It's just that we need to plan it out. If we fail, we can still get up and fight. But we have to try. And there is no excuse to the fact that you have not tried. If you have tried and failed, you have nothing to feel bad about. But if you have not tried, then you are wrong. You are wrong if you have not tried at all. These chain of incidents that happened in the state of Andhra during this time and what continues to happen even today have been a big challenge for the ruling party. And the one thing that keeps this government a standout from other governments is that this government is waging a lone fight and not given up yet and continues to hold its values and principles high. And the people who are closely connected to Jagan and the insiders in the party do appreciate his decision, saying that the current changes that are needed are much more important than having a new capital. And the schemes Jagan has brought out and the follow up he takes on them, there is no way anyone can deny that he is very able statesman. There are some black dots too in the way of functioning, as there is favorism that comes sometimes. But generally, when the complete picture is taken into consideration, then it's much better. This chapter is a very special one, taken into consideration that if the Amravati city if the Amravati smart city did come into existence, then there would be another scam that would fall on the people's head. And the proposed repayment plan that was given to the loan the World Bank would provide was in no ways close to being practical. As a citizen, if I have to give a neutral, no biased point of view on this subject, I would say I am glad this project did not take shape. If this project would have taken shape, then maybe some years down the lane, this would actually turn out to be the scam of the millennium. Because if you closely study the proposed model, you for yourselves will know how deep were the plans to play with the market and to create the fake demand and then mint money. I do not have anything personal against anyone, but when I use my brain and see at it as a subject of discussion, I find sense in whatever has been discussed and the conclusions that had drawn on this subject so far. Jagan too is not that clean because there are questions on him. And these questions too, as I have discussed, I will definitely take it up. But in this instance, I do not see any foul play on Jagan's side. The people that need to be questioned here in this context are N. Chandrababu Naidu, Nandamuri Balakrishna, N. Srinivasan, and others. Amongst the lot, the involvement of Balakrishna is still a ghostly figure here because a lot say that he was very much behind the scenes just to ensure that if anything goes wrong, then there should be someone who can work around the same and get things back on track. The close circles who were involved in this say that the plan was set so beautifully that who would take the blame and how this would be brushed down the carpet if something goes wrong. Now, if you watch this and try to connect, you will actually understand what actually is the reason why not a single case reaches a conclusion, or why the cases keep dragging for years and years together. And sometimes, when the judgment comes out, the person would have been long dead, or in a situation where he enjoyed this victory, he would have a handful of almonds but no teeth to eat them. There have been so many scams in Andhra Pradesh that have happened, and Jagan too has had his name pop out in these scams. All these can come out with one strike. Through this case, I will make sure that if I find time, I will dig a little deeper into the other aspects too. But on the general look, it's not at all needed to be digging into the deeper aspects because this one incident is more than enough to pull all those matters out and expose everything out in the open as the fact when compared to other states, to states like Andhra, it's this shuffle that always keeps happening between YSRCP and TDP. And it's the same set of people who once will be in power and once in the opposition. So it should not be that difficult a nut to crack. Just the start has to be made and everything else will fall in place. If the biodata of the people who are public figures is taken and worked upon, all the connections will become quite obvious. Though I had no much connections to these places whatsoever, but since I have started my work for the sake of humanity and to take this matter to conclusion, some untold stories have to be told. Some unnarrated incidents have to be narrated, and some unvisited places have to be visited again. This has to be done in order to reach the end of the tunnel and see light. See, there is one saying that goes, whatever happens in the dark will come out in the light eventually. Unity is the trick. We all have to stay united and ensure that we stick together like this till the time we achieve our results. If we do not do this, then there is no possibility that we will achieve what we want to. Because till we are united, no one can break us. And once we lose our unity, we are nowhere in contention to do anything. So it's very important for us to understand and implement all these factors into our life. And in this mission too, because we have to make sure that we are ready for any challenge that is thrown onto us and also be ready for any challenge that comes onto us. And we also make sure that we are prepared to face failures as well. These businessmen have deep and dirty links with politicians and use these links and connections for all benefits, and the benefits are mutual, where each and everyone who is involved gets equal shares of the same and can make equal profits, and this is why the association continues and turns to be favorable for one and all. And this is the modus too. The one thing we need to understand here is that this is the exact point where we have to strike and break this stronghold of theirs, their association between themselves, and the fact that these associations of theirs form the backbone of their existence. So, in order to break their backbone, we have to attack their association and create difference of opinion, and then wait and watch what exactly is the way in these people walk out of it. This forms another important aspect in this mission, how we break into this and make sure that the pressure builds up, and how we ensure we wait for the right moment to strike. Because if we are ready for it, we can achieve it. The right moment is when the frustration is at the peak. Because when the frustration is at the peak, that's when the strike will be most effective. as they will be taken out totally off guard, and they will not be in that frame of mind to even react to what is happening around them. See, this is what they had been doing to us. Now, in order to break them down, we have to make sure we give it back to them in the same coin what they had done to us and are doing to us even now. The one thing we need to understand here is that everyone is a human being and no one has horns on their heads. It's just the way they have executed their plans is what that have made them great. And this is continuing till date because there is no opposition or challenge that is thrown onto them. That is what made them so strong. And also, that's what made them be fearless. If we have to make sure that we have to win, then the first thing that we have to do is we have to get this fear back onto them and ensure that we strike hard and continue to keep striking so that we will reach our goal and ensure that our society is safe and sound. When the Amravati project was planned, the industry that would benefit the most was the real estate industry. The sites that were not having much value was purchased in bulk, mostly by the family members and the close circles of the TDP, Congress, BJP, and some top-notch businessmen. The city plan was such that every government office would eventually open in the city, and the city will host a lot of IT buildings. And a top university too was in the city plan. This would attract people from around the country here, and that means population coming in, which in turn means that there is need for accommodation and places to stay. So the builders and the real estate industry would come in full boom, and the investment would come back at least 10 times from the initial investment, and everyone involved would have definitely added a few crores to their accounts. This would mean that everyone eventually benefited out of the investment, as there was a lot of scope to make quick money in the near future. These are some deep, dirty facts that have summed up the Amravati project, but no media or mainstream house ever bothered to even report about it or speak a word on it. This is what the media has been doing for ages now. Media too is on my radar, and the best lesson that can be taught to the media is that we all should make social media as our tool to get in touch with the world and keep us up to date on what is happening around us. Turn blind to what these people want to show us and start writing out what is happening around us ourselves. If each citizen does it, the media houses themselves will learn the lesson. I will read this again, Minaji. Media too is on my radar, and the best lesson that can be taught to the media is that we all should make social media as our tool to get in touch with the world and keep us up to date on what is happening around us. Turn blind to what these people want to show us and start writing out what is happening around us ourselves. If each citizen does it, the media houses themselves will learn their lessons, and this will stop. Else, we will continue to witness the same thing that has been happening since ages, wherein we are not even given the complete information around anything that is happening around us. And the media is now being used as a tool, as a personal agenda in image building, and also ensuring that we are kept in the dark when real sensitive issues for the subject of the day. Okay, Minaji, I think I have read a lot today. Was I
Yes,
clear?
yes,
Was
yes,
I
very
clear?
clear. Very clear. Yeah, yeah.
Any confusions or doubts?
No, nothing, nothing at all. In fact, very interesting. And all of them have posted their comments also about how, what is happening with Jagan. And very well said. Thank you so much, Deepti, for
Okay.
another wonderful session. And we'll wait for the next session with you.
Sure,
Good
Minaji.
night from
Definitely.
all of us.
Thank you. Good night, Minaji.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye.